Hello friends and family, and welcome to Day 3 of the 2023 Discraft Ledgestone Open, presented by Merrill. This coverage is brought to you by Run Productions. We are here at the Sunset Hills course in Peoria, Illinois. My name is Holyn Handley.
And I'm Sayananda. Check out your boys on the socials if you haven't already. We've got towels out today. Towels, rain jackets, and all of the gear for wet weather. Oh, that's cool.
That is a portal to another universe, I'm convinced.
It was intimidating to walk past. We've got Holyn Handley. Fairway hits, 89%. Circle 1 putting, 88%. Looking really good. We've got Lisa Fajkus, 78, Circle 2 in regulation, and 84% fairway hits. These ladies are looking really good.
Next up, Stacie Rawnsley, 90% Circle 1 putting in round 2.
Impressive.
Love those stats. Rounding out the card, Vanessa Van Dyken, 89% fairway hits in round 2.
Oh, she looks so cute with that hat. They're playing some clean golf out there.
I love a bucket hat. Here we are on hole 1, a 636 par 4. You have the out-of-bounds sidewalk on the left, but pretty much you can air it out anywhere in this beautiful green fairway. Your second shot being between 200 and 275 feet. You can use a mid or a putter with a nice gentle landing, hopefully matching the slope of the green, sneaking into the circle, giving yourself a birdie look on the first hole.
Teeing off first, we have Holyn Handley.
Completely different conditions than yesterday.
And it'll be interesting to see how the scores vary based on those conditions. It played pretty tough out there. Excellent shot for Holyn right off the bat.
Next to the tee, we have Lisa Fajkus.
Lisa Fajkus representing Team Lone Star this season. It's a solid looking drive.
I notice a pretty common theme on this course is you get pretty comfy on that tee shot, and the second and third shot is really where the hole distills and gets complicated.
Stacie Rawnsley, no stranger to the distance department. Love holes like this where you can see her air one out.
And rounding out our 935
Perhaps a
chase
little
card, we
bit
have
more
Vanessa
right
Van
than,
Dyken.
like dropping a pin perfect, but I'm sure she's happy with that given the conditions. It doesn't look like the wind has kicked up too much at this point yet, but we'll see how that goes.
The previous tee times had to play through a torrential downpour, while the lead card, luckily, and the chase card,
They got a fine mist.
Exactly, just a light drizzle ending up to a fine mist. A strong start for Vanessa Van Dyken and everyone on the card here.
Landing within, maybe 60, 70 feet. It's a pretty nice tee shot. Lisa looking at the daunting approach. We can't see the basket. I like the widths on this so far, but it needs to get left. Oh, that was great.
Look at the curl on that. In the bullseye for Lisa Fajkus. That's going to be a drop-in birdie here on hole 1.
And that was a great example of something I noticed, is that taking it out wider and deeper than you think actually allows you a more horizontal skip in relation to the water. Vanessa playing it close there, but making it happen.
I used to use the giant tree in front of the basket as a visual aim, but now I use the leafy backdrop
Yeah.
behind the basket.
Perhaps even the spotter, if he's down there. That's interesting. You notice the same thing.
Yeah, we were lucky today. Yesterday we had no spotters on hole 1, which was very surprising. But today we had 2 spotters, so thankful for that, especially for them to volunteer in the rain.
That last camera perspective definitely showed you the downpour that was kind of coming down that we're playing in.
Stacie Rawnsley, a common theme, as I mentioned, that big tree is a good visual for the basket, but if you actually aim for that, it's often just too much of a risky putt to go for.
It's too safe.
You're looking at a 45-foot putt to get a birdie.
Mm-hmm. If you're committed to laying it up from there, you know that's definitely a play, but it doesn't give you much of an opportunity.
Right. Fine for par, risky for birdie. Holyn lands high
Similar
up on
situation.
the hill. Yeah. Let's see if Stacie's going to run this. No thank you. Drop in par for Stacie. Holyn feels the same way.
They'd be questioning that on a good day, and I think given the current conditions, that makes it an easy choice.
Vanessa even was at a very, beneficial angle. And she decided not even to take a stab at that.
Wow, some good focus for Stacie there as her umbrella decided to be a little unruly toddler on her there.
Stacie in for par, Holyn Handley in for par. Lisa Fajkus with the only birdie here on this card.
That's a very nice start.
Oh, did you see that slip getting her disc out of the
Oh,
basket?
man. I didn't, but I can see the mud displaced there.
And only 6 birdies here on hole 1 today.
Playing difficult, that was a good one to get. And certainly a nice start. When we have such adverse weather, you're trying to take any strokes you can get out there. Moving on to hole 2, we've got a nice par 3 at 313 feet. It's pretty attainable as long as you can get the shape and the angles correct. You can go down the flight that the drone is taking now for a pretty wide open clean hyzer that I think is pretty favorable, but there's also a straight shot that is pretty open for a forehand if you've got the gall and the accuracy. The left side of the fairway does play OB, I forgot to mention. Lisa with the bird, teeing off first here.
Lisa swinging it out wide, hoping to get a little flare skip up into the circle. And that's a
I
putt.
see a blue tuft. Yeah, it's up in the area. Looks like the wind is starting to kick up here as the rain is starting to come as well. As Holyn's disc gets played with a little bit in the wind.
Holyn more of a spike hyzer approach. That puts her at the circle's edge. Stacie pulled that a bit to the right, very similar to hole 1's tee shot, but it's wide open and safe over there, so she can pitch up and have a par.
I'm liking this from Vanessa. This has some good angle integrity, and it's coming in really nice. Well done.
Right outside the bullseye. That's what you're looking for on a windy day.
Hole 1 was a little bit daunting. I think this is a nice second hole. You know, a little bit more of ease into the round.
And that's well within Lisa's putting range, but again, it's windy and it's on a little bit of a mound, so she lays up. Holyn gives it a bid, even though that sidewalk behind the basket's out of bounds, so I admire the courage on that putt.
Stacie from what looks like maybe 25.
In for par.
That was
solid
good recovery.
scramble. That was a tester par putt.
And that always feels tough on a hole where you feel like you should get a birdie. You feel like you worked way too hard for that par.
Van Dyken in for birdie.
Everyone out there was looking so tough today with their tough boots and their gear. Lisa sporting like the military green look. Really awesome to see everybody's unique routines when it comes to protecting themselves from the wet and making it as comfortable as, you know, an uncomfortable round could possibly be.
Only 5 birdies here on the second hole today out of the
Wow.
entire field. Welcome back. We are here on hole 3, a nice downhill par 3, 384 feet. You have the conservative, more common route here that the drone is flying, which will hopefully put you short of those 3 sand hazards and give you more of a safe putt. There is a more aggressive route over to the right side where you can swing your disc over the sidewalk and get all the way up there for a park job. Otherwise, maybe you dial back a bit, land a little short of the sand hazards, and have an uphill putt for birdie. Vanessa Van Dyken with honors on a box after a birdie on hole 2. And this is a very uncommon route.
Typically you would see it with a forehand, not a backhand.
It's completely safe over there, so you can air it out anywhere in the grass and play the hole for par.
Angle control super important here, but it looks like the wind is in her favor and pushes her up towards the green. That shouldn't be too complicated of an approach. Nose angle super important with that one. If you get it too low, you can kind of hit the ground running, but she kept the nose angle really nice as she kind of hit the elevation there. Well executed.
Holyn, one of very few players to throw a mid on this hole.
And get, ample distance from it too. Well done.
Stacie hoping to wait out the strong gust, but you've only got 30 seconds, so she didn't wait too long.
Luckily, it looks like she chose the appropriate disc.
Absolutely.
And executed a pretty good throw there.
Yeah, everyone, pretty much can play for par from here.
And you could hear on the microphone that there definitely was a significant wind change for her there.
Look at this tight landing zone Vanessa Van Dyken has to work with.
I don't know if I'm in favor of it. I definitely admire the creativity, though.
She lands in the hazard, so she'll have to take a penalty stroke. She'll have to make the putt to save a bogey. Stacie, what nice placement on that.
Great finesse there.
Lisa could run this, but it's OB hazard behind the basket. Is it worth the risk or not?
I mean,
She says no.
the layup in and of itself is a risk. If you look at that landing zone, that's, maybe 10 feet.
And no thanks for Lisa on that one.
This looks like a pretty friendly shot for Holyn.
Oh no! Oh, thank you. That was a really good shot for a mid. Vanessa Van Dyken to save bogey from the sand hazard. No problem. It fell out. I hate that.
Gurgled a little bit. Yeah, that's unfortunate when you make the connection.
It's a lot of chains.
Just got to keep aiming for him. Good connection there with Stacie for a cleanup.
I loved the accuracy on Stacie's chip shot.
Like I said, very small landing zone. Holyn making that par look easy, especially with the mid.
2 putts that well within Lisa's range that she decided to lay up and play smart golf with.
We'll see how that serves her during the round. We've all kind of, we all experiment with that strategy of, how conservative can I be without being a scaredy cat. Moving on, we've got hole 4 here, par 3 at 345 feet. I think this is a super interesting hole. It really challenges your gall and your angle integrity as well as distance control, so it's super fun. You've got to carry over the water and have it hyzer just in the right way, not getting caught up in the foliage to the left and not airing too long. Even that grass right next to the basket is pretty daunting, so you've got to have a nice accurate shot.
Fajkus up first. Oh no, she's hit the limbs, which could be trouble for her.
Oh, there's the white stake there. Yep. Looks like we may be out of bounds there.
Safe, and that is a putt, but it's sort of a tricky putt. You've
Not
got
an
to
easy
loft
birdie.
it over that little section of grass there.
Depending on how vertically inclined you are. Oh, the smallest branch knocks Stacie way left.
Stacie looks to be out of bounds. Anytime you clip a twig, a leaf on the way there, I'd say 80% of the time you're going to end up in the water or out of bounds.
Vanessa doesn't like this out of her hands. Oh, yep.
Vanessa lands in the sand hazard. That's 2 in a row.
Very common to land in that hazard there. You
I
want to make...
know from experience.
Yes, you want to make sure you carry over that water, you give it that extra juice that it needs, and just doesn't come back when you need it to.
Lisa's drive was out of bounds, and now her upshot has landed 45 feet away from the basket.
It was like between the 2 trees. I went there and I'm straight back from the basket.
Just getting some affirmation from her card to make sure she's taking it from the appropriate lie there. Interesting to have a forehand from there, but probably more comfortable than a patent pending, I would imagine.
Stacie utilizes her forehand for the majority of her upshots.
I admire the understable technicality of a forehand.
Van Dyken to save bogey.
It looked like it had a good straightforward progress, but just didn't have quite enough spin to get it up there. It was a good run.
That would have saved par.
Yes, that would have been her par putt.
Yeah, she'll have to settle for the bogey now.
Little bit of a lofty go. Looked like she could have been more committed on the layup there.
Holyn gives it a nice loft.
Got some commitment and not too errant here. Not a problem for Lisa.
She'll have to take a 5 here on the 4th. Washes away her birdie on hole 1.
This course looks so much prettier than it plays. It's got some hidden teeth, even though these fairways look so manageable.
Rawnsley with a bogey as well after going out of bounds off the tee. Bogey for Van Dyken after landing in the sand trap.
On what conceptually you would consider a birdie hole. So many shenanigans out here.
That was a tough one. Look at this cute shorty.
After a tough... Oh, wait, no. Did I steal you? I stole your hole there. Go for it, Holly.
Hole 5, a par 3, 246 feet. You've got to go over the out-of-bounds pond off the tee, and the pond playing around the basket is out of bounds. Preferably, I like a putter here, just for a nice straight flight and a gentle landing, but forehands will have an advantage. And I've seen a lot of people use a fairway and a driver just to get a nice chip shot and park the hole. Holyn with a standstill. This is very rare to see.
I mean, considering the distance she had on a mid-range, not inherently surprising.
She might be the first person I've ever seen standstill that tee shot.
Oh,
She's safe putting for birdie.
I like that. You know, the whole right side, completely safe. I like that play if you're not, confident in your birdie.
Stacie's got a 70-foot putt for birdie, but it's looking at the water. And Vanessa goes out of bounds and looks like she scoots back in bounds thanks to that wet sidewalk. That was lucky.
They were slippery. They were slippery.
The tees were slippery too.
I like the forehand. Simple, no nonsense. Looks like she might be a little bit caught up in the grass there.
It's going to be another risk-reward putt for Lisa.
Ooh.
If Vanessa's on my card, that's in bounds all day. Vanessa for birdie. She lays it up.
Was she standing on? Was it beyond? Was it the path and beyond? Was she putting? From
If she lifts up her hind leg before she releases the disc, then it's a legal throw.
Yep.
This is Fajkus for birdie, but another risky putt.
Risky. The grass wasn't as much in her way as I thought, but that is definitely a daunting putt. That water's looking really calm right now, though. That was a good opportunity for Holyn to putt, and she takes it.
She gets a birdie. Van Dyken saves a par. One time I lost a mid in that lake for this pond here for maybe 2-3 minutes, just long enough for me to fish it out. And it smelled like a swamp. And it still smells like a swamp. And that was 6 years ago. So I do not recommend ever putting your body in that body of water. One birdie on that cute little short hole, and that was by Holyn Handley.
All right, you guys, we have hole 6. It's a par 5 at 712 feet. We've got the OB coming into the play on the left and to the right. As we move forward, we have a little bit of water carry on your final shot to make it to the basket. Placement is super duper important on this one, and deciding where you want to put your approach shot for that final throw over the water is super important. Holyn with the lone birdie taking the box.
Last year at Ledgestone, Holyn threw this in for the Albatross,
Legendary.
currently known as the Albatross. And she is tracking that out of bounds area where the nice fairway meets the grass. That's actually the out of bounds line.
And it definitely comes into play, as you don't really want to flip it and go too straight to the OB, and it's easy to be a little bit shy.
Perfect shot from Stacie, pushing that OB sidewalk, letting the disc work its way back into the fairway.
This was an actual mudslide. You definitely want to go on the other side of the logs there and walk completely around.
Anywhere but where I went. Don't do that.
Yes, that is precisely what she said. Vanessa off the tee here. I love the angle on this one.
Backwards off the tee.
Super smooth, good placement.
Lisa pushing the sidewalk as well.
I like the confidence. Very nice shot.
With Holyn's distance, she's probably still able to save birdie or par even though she went out of bounds.
I wouldn't doubt it. She's definitely got the confidence and the aggression.
And from here, Lisa just prefers to lay up more towards the left side, which opens up the hyzer, versus Vanessa with just more of a straight shot.
And as I said yesterday, I definitely think that left side, at least for me, the hyzer shot, it simplifies it, in my opinion.
I played both, and I prefer the left to be the landing zone for myself as well. Holyn Handley's third shot after OB off the tee, and she's going for it. I knew she would. That's what you do when you got 450 in the tank. And she's safe. She's parked it.
Boy.
Incredible. Not surprising, though. I mean, that's what I expected from her.
She carried over a significant amount of land, as
It wasn't
well
a flat
as
run-up either. Did you see that little hill she was on?
elevated and on the hyzer. That was a very skilled shot. Ooh, hopefully Vanessa's strong there. Looks like we had a little slip.
Vanessa's core strength and balance kept her upright, but messed up her shot, and she has thrown her upshot out of bounds. That's annoying. Because it's the footing, you know? It wasn't any error in her throw. It was just the footing.
There are so many annoying things like that that can happen on rainy days that really test your focus and your fortitude.
And Fajkus was looking for a hyzer finish. She did not want to go to the right side of that tree. And now that's going to be a bit of a tricky putt or layup under that limb. Oh, worst case scenario. Van Dyken looking just to maybe save a par, bogey at worst. And she's back in the water on her upshot.
Ooh. That was...
It's a tough place to be. You got to go under that low limb.
Well, did you see Lisa? She went to the left of that tree. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. They're both going to the left of that tree. Cheeky. All right. Looks like she's decided the hole's over. Get it over with. Start fresh on the next one. Little bit of an intimidating putt, but not too big of a consequence if you can keep your tempo.
For
Ooh.
birdie, Rawnsley gets it in on the 6th. That was really good. Yeah, a little fist pump.
Yep, she likes it. Any little bit you can take out here on a day like today. Any reason to smile is a good reason out here. Lisa with the par. Oh, that's funny. I totally didn't even notice that she had left it in there. Vanessa with the unfortunate triple bogey. We'll see what she can do to get back at that.
And it just happened so quick.
It does.
And she wasn't even going for anything risky.
It's a little bit of a tightrope, and you can slip off pretty quickly.
Hole 7, another fun tee shot, downhill, 575 feet, par 4. OB lines both sides, but the fairway's pretty wide. If you want to shave off some distance, you can throw down the middle, but most players prefer that right side, which is completely open. Just hyzer over there, another little chip hyzer, and you're looking at a birdie putt. Holyn Handley up first, currently sitting at 2 under for the round, taking the right side hyzer route with a lot of air underneath it. Perfect shot for her.
Yeah, pretty well executed if you're going to take that line. I would take that all day long. Stacie opting for a similar line. The key here is to not let your nose angle dip too much towards that out of bounds. You really want to keep the belly of the disc pushing and kind of hyzering as you're gliding. This, see exactly, going a little bit too straight, but ends up all right. Completely fine. Luckily, didn't push too much.
And Dyken looked to be going for that right side as well.
Okay,
but,
yeah.
You know, she's landed at the first tree, and she can still birdie from there. You know, another 275-foot shot just like that. And
Lots of airspace.
You're
and a
dropping
hyzer.
in.
Mm-hmm.
See if she can swing in there and get herself a putt. 50-footer.
Not completely out of range, but we'll see what the wind has to say when she steps up to it. Lisa putting some good effort into that one, but it looks like it might be...
Off of the stake? What are the chances of that?
Was it the stake or was that an illusion?
I couldn't tell. It looked like the top of the stake.
Oh, well, that would be hilarious. But she lands it in pretty well for a putt. Ooh, get in there. All right, Stacie putting the mustard on a forehand and landing just outside the target. Well done.
Holyn Handley with the longest drive of the group, opting for a buzz.
I love that play.
Into the circle. Did you see the spin on that thing?
Mm-hmm. Nice push hyzer on the left side of the tree rather than spiking the hyzer around the tree. Very controlled.
Vanessa playing for a safe par.
Oh, a connection made. Unfortunately, doesn't go in for the scorecard, but a nice to see the run.
Yeah.
Holyn connecting with another solid putt.
That was a good looking putt. It's a birdie for her.
Awesome to see her staying focused and really executing some good shots.
Oh, and Rawnsley just pulled that one a bit to the right. Sometimes, like if there's somebody walking in the background and you accidentally putt at them instead of the basket.
And you know, if you're a spin putter, that's the Achilles. It can just it can come out of nowhere sometimes. I can speak from experience.
Stacie in for par. Van Dyken in for par. And Lisa gave it a good bid. You know, she got a taste of the cage, but she'll have to settle for par. And I didn't realize it until now, but that's actually a turkey for Holyn Handley.
Oh, sneaking up with a turkey in the adverse conditions. That's dangerous. All right, we have hole 8. Par 3 at 292 feet. This one plays uphill, so I would say it's giving a little bit more 320 for distance. You've got kind of 2 pathways you can take on the right side that puts the sand traps more into play, or you have a more direct backhand anhyzer or forehand that's gonna get you a better line, but doesn't completely eliminate those sand traps. Got Holyn riding the turkey first to tee here. Grounds a little bit.
Too low on the uphill. Now she's...
Those sand traps make for a tricky approach. We'll see if she can
Yeah.
put the accuracy on there.
That is a tough...
This is turning over. Hopefully it doesn't get too much further. All right.
Because of how uphill this is, sometimes you try to overthrow it. And also there was a bit of a cross breeze today. Lisa's disc doing the same thing.
It's challenging because you have to throw the disc in an upward direction, but you don't want to expose the nose angle. You still have to have the nose down just a little bit.
And a low ceiling.
Exactly. So the level that you're playing with vertically is not a lot.
This is probably one of the most challenging birdies on the Sunset Hills layout. Look at Lisa's upshot.
Accuracy so important. That landing zone is teensy weensy.
It's very rare to see a birdie here. I've been playing this course for a lot of years. Vanessa's parked it.
At under 300 feet too, it's crazy. Let me tell you, these are some really good approaches.
Getting a birdie here is a bonus birdie.
Absolutely, with the uphill and the technicality.
Stacie could have gotten there all day, but she decides to lay it up to be safe. Strong putt for Holyn. Her putting stroke is looking really good today. As well as Stacie's.
Yeah, that hole could have been a lot nastier than it was, and those approaches were really beautifully executed.
There were only 3 birdies on the day on this hole.
Wow. Call that a couple glasses of margaritas.
At Discraft, we don't wait to see what the future holds. We build it. The future is in your hands.
Hello and welcome back. It's hole 9, par 4, 535 feet, out of bounds on the left as well as the right side. Your tee shot should be as long as possible. Ideal shot would land past these center trees, between the tree and the pond, giving you a nice little jump putt under that stump. Otherwise, the upshot is really the trickiest part about this hole. And if you land too long behind the basket, you're putting back at the water. Handley up first, mid off the tee. Watching somebody play this course with a mid is enlightening.
That's a good word to use. I was struggling with the verbiage there. That was a good word to use.
Rawnsley takes my preferred route, aggressive hyzer right side, getting a nice flare skip.
I have not had the pleasure of trying that route. Never saw it in practice. Never played it in the tournament round. Lisa opting for a similar route. but ending up on the left side of the tree line anyway.
Oh, Van Dyken hits that tree right at the base of the canopy level and drops down. She's going to have to settle for par. Just get as close as she can.
That's probably the riskiest part of that play.
It is. And the out of bounds. If you just throw straight and
Straight
your
too
disc
long.
doesn't hyzer, then you've pushed it out of bounds. From here, Lisa Fajkus can just throw it long, get it in bounds, and unfortunately she throws it in the drink.
That's too bad. You can hear that wind is really coming in hot, and you can see the direction just
I feel like if she would have
down.
let it go a little flatter, you
Yep.
know, it was at such an extreme angle right out of the hand. And she knew, you could hear her.
Yep, she saw it interacting with the wind and knew it didn't quite come out at the angle she needed.
There's no way Holyn's going to lay up from
This
there.
has the width, though. She played the angle well and goes well deep.
Under the next hole sign. That's funny.
She's had some really good putting this round. That's going to be a tester for her. We'll see what she ends up doing.
Van Dyken with the standstill and barely
Oh.
puts enough on it. Sneaks over into the tufts. She's in bounds by a disc's worth.
Sigh of relief.
And that's going to be a tricky putt, too. Windy, elevated.
A little bit less consequence than Holly has there, where she's putting a little bit to the side. Stacie puts herself in good position to not be putting directly back at the water as well.
Solid approach from Lisa. She's in the bullseye.
I feel like it's worth mentioning that this pond was non-existent on day 2 when we played Sunset.
Yes, go watch yesterday's coverage. You can see the pond. It's just a little bit of water and mostly mud, but today it's a legit pond. Because Van Dyken's right on the line, she gets to walk it in.
I like the commitment and I love that she ran it. Not the result she was looking for, but I think that was a strong play. Stacie from Circle's Edge here. Wants this one. Great connection.
Stacie Rawnsley. What a great birdie.
It had good tempo and came in right dead center. Beautiful. Oh, did I miss Holyn's putt?
She laid it up.
Oh, okay, yes.
She was so far away and it was putting right at the water, she decided just to go for the safe par.
I was wondering, and that's a wise choice. No unnecessary risks when you're on a good flow.
Vanessa spins it in. She'll take a bogey here on this hole, as well as Lisa Fajkus. And that's it. The front half is over. Holyn Handley with the best round of the card so far.
Completely clean. Looking gorgeous.
Bogey free on the front 9. Let's take a look at the leaderboard.
Despite the rough weather, we're seeing some pretty good scores here. Some pretty decent strokes under par. Holly Finley tying with Maria Oliva with the 10 down.
Thanks so much for hanging out with Cy and I here on day 3 for the Ledgestone Open. If you're into CBD products, head on over to pharmacbd.com and use code HOLLY for 20% off.
I am selling some fantastic Tournament X Burst Bears in person. If you ever catch me after a round, come say hi and support my tour. I appreciate it very much.